Hi everyone, this is Northeast Weather Center student forecaster Stephen Boyle. Happy Monday, happy April. Well, looks like winter is pretty much over with. There's no April Fool's joke about that. We'll see some general influxes of some colder air, but for the most part, it looks like everything is over with. However, I want you to notice here that there is some advisories out into portions of central New York. That is again for the possibility of a little bit of snow, possibly localized areas seeing up to a foot, but most areas seeing 4 to 8 inches of snow. So nothing too major. There is a frontal system moving through the northeast right now. Very gusty winds. Some of these winds are at times gusting up over 50 miles an hour. So just keep that in mind. There could be some branches that come down, some tree limbs, things like that. So you might need to clean the yard after today. But for the most part, things are starting to calm down. Some freeze watches out into portions of Tennessee, and for the most part, nothing really going on other than that. Alright, looking at the radar here, we'll even update this for you. Looking at the radar here, there is actually some thunderstorms moving through the Boston area. Our first thunderstorms of the year moving through the Boston area. There was actually some cloud-to-ground lightning strikes reported in Hopkinton, that area. So happy thunderstorm season, everybody. Even some heavier squalls of rain are actually moving through Connecticut. Even some rumbles of thunder with that, and some very gusty winds. So there's also some rain starting to build back into portions of Massachusetts and Connecticut. And again, the winds are really coming out of the northwest behind this front. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so here is we'll update this for you. Here is our satellite imagery, and basically you can see really where this front is. It's basically right in New York right now, and again, the winds are really howling here. So basically, get ready. That's why these folks in here are really seeing some windy conditions. There's some thunderstorms starting to break out into portions of Oklahoma, portions of Kansas. There's a little bit of a low pressure feature out in here, and I'm gonna have to kind of watch this as this kind of comes down and around the bend here, and there's gonna be an area of southern stream energy that's going to be in here, and as this little feature kind of taps into this energy, what's going to happen here is you're going to kind of see this storm kind of blow up, and the exact movement of this particular storm is a little bit uncertain at this particular point, so I'll have to sort of see about that. Alright, so we're going to start off with the NAM. Here is the NAM, and again, there is the cold front coming in. And again, here is that storm. Okay, so here comes the little surface feature. There's a little bit of southern stream energy down in here, and basically it taps into that, and basically we get a nice low pressure system. Folks who are going to be visiting the Gulf Coast, Florida, areas like that, I would definitely keep my eyes out on the forecast here, because there could be some serious severe weather moving through these regions coming up in the next couple days here, particularly on Thursday. So I would definitely watch these areas for potential severe weather. Gusty winds, hail, and tornadoes are definitely going to be a serious concern. Looking at the 500 millibar pattern here, the jet stream. Here you go. Okay, so here is the warm air that we saw ahead of the front. Again, temperatures in a lot of areas today reached into the 60s, and there are those winds. You can see the at the 500 millibar level, you can see that there is definitely some strong winds, and that is definitely going to transfer down to the surface, especially in some of these stronger rains. Possibly a breezy day tomorrow, still behind this front. Because again, we got a nice flow coming in from the northwest. But again, it's definitely going to be a cooler day tomorrow. And then again, here is that little surface feature down in here. Going to watch that as that kind of comes around and, like I said, taps into some energy down in the Gulf. You can kind of see the energy kind of forming a little bit. And you can sort of see it gets more organized, and as it taps into that energy down there, you can sort of see it sort of starts really exploding into a good feature. And what happens as that happens is this will move eventually north and eastward. And again, the question is it going to affect these folks, particularly in here? Probably not. Most likely it'll get as far north as this and basically move up like that, and these folks will be seeing a mainly sunny day. Alright, so that's the NAM. Actually, we'll even look at surface temperature, briefly check that out. For the most part, there's the temperatures for today. You can see 60s. Tomorrow, much cooler. I mean, you can see some areas not even getting out of the 30s. I mean, look at that. I mean, you have 30 to, or 35 to 40 degrees, and I mean, down into portions of the mid-Atlantic, I mean, you have temperatures not getting out of the 50s, and then, of course, down into portions of Virginia, not even getting out of the 60s. And again, here is the little surface feature, and you can definitely tell there's some rain going on in there. And the reason why we're concerned about severe weather is, again, you can see all of this very warm air down stuck into the southeastern states, this kind of cooler air that's being generated by the surface feature. The gradient between the temperatures here is definitely going to definitely create some convection, and again is going to definitely cause problems as far as severe weather goes. So again, there you go, and you can sort of see these very warm temperatures that come into Florida. I mean, look at these. Look at some of these temperatures, over 90 degrees. It's ridiculous. And then here's Wednesday's temperatures, and still, I mean, you can see these areas will be mainly seeing rain, and then again you have warmer conditions down in here. So again, there's going to be a battle here. Our battle zone is basically in here. So basically right along the Gulf Coast is basically where you're going to be talking about your highest probabilities of severe weather. But as this system moves in here, and if you're on the northern edge of this system, you can basically say goodbye to the warmth, and that's going to get basically shunted out as the storm continues to move in this particular direction. And again, you can see these temperatures much cooler where the storm is actually producing precipitation. Again, it warms behind the front, or behind the low feature, but when you are in it, probably not even getting out of the 40s, or maybe even only 30s, especially into the mountains here. But still, I mean, even after the storms and everything move through, Florida doesn't really cool down all that much. I mean, there is a little bit of a cool down in here, but look at that. I mean, it's nothing. Now, looking at the Northeast through this time period, I mean, you can basically see, for the most part, nothing really will be going on into the Northeast. I mean, we do have still some cool conditions on Wednesday. On Thursday, we will be starting to warm up. But again, if this, if what's being advertised by the NAM is correct, then we would probably be seeing cooler conditions on Friday into these areas. But again, I'm not really buying it all that much. I don't think the low will be moving that far north. I'm generally more in line with what the Euro is putting out there, and I'll show you that with the first of all, the surface map. And again, here is that front moving through. And again, there is the storm system. Okay. And basically, you can see there's those thunderstorms that start forming down into Florida. That could cause some pretty nasty severe weather and misses most of the Northeast. And again, definitely watching out next week for our first possible severe weather event, particularly by next Thursday. And I mean, you can really see a clearly defined frontal system. I mean, you have a little area of low pressure in here. You have cooler air behind this front, warmer air surging ahead of it, and also moving up like this as well. So basically, as this continues to work its way eastward, these folks will eventually get into that flow of warmer air, and that might even cause this area of thunderstorms to continue to work its way eastward and maybe even affect portions of the Northeast with their first severe weather of the season. We'll have to sort of keep an eye out on that. And again, temperatures are really going to surge as we get a southeastern ridge starting to build. And again, the question is we are going to see these frequent fronts that move in, but again, behind it, there's a lot of, I mean, you get a brief little period. I mean, you can sort of see this little, barely a trough behind this. And then again, notice the very intense ridge behind it. So there's not a serious concern of whether we're going to stick around with the cold. I mean, I think we're going to probably stick around with the warmth longer. We're going to see brief periods of cool. But for the most part, it looks like we're going to be on the warm side. Looking at the jet stream pattern, again, here is that definitely you can see those winds with this upcoming front. I mean, you can see those very strong winds in the upper levels, possibly nearing 50 knots in some cases. But for the most part, the knots are anywhere between 20 to 30 knots into the upper levels. But again, some isolated areas going close to 40 knots. And again, we do see a general flow coming out of the northwest through this whole time period. And again, we are watching this storm system down here starting to form. All right, so basically there comes the storm, the feature, and we have our southern stream energy down in here. This is where our southern stream energy is. This is actually not associated much with this little feature. What's actually going to happen is this feature taps into this energy and it explodes. Okay, you'll watch as this moves eastward. It taps into that energy that's in the Gulf of Mexico, and the storm system just explodes. Now, watch what happens with the Euro. Notice how we have quite an intense blocking pattern up into this region. I think that's what's going to end up happening is we are going to end up seeing this get shunted out and actually not affecting these people in here or even portions of the northern mid-Atlantic. I do not think that we get a major rainstorm or even snows in for some people. I don't think that happens. I think the farthest north the rain gets is central Jersey, southern PA. That's as far north as I think the rain will get, and I don't think it gets any farther north than that. So again, you can see that moves out, and as that moves out, we start seeing a little bit of a ridge developing. And what happens here is all of our cold gets stuck up into Canada, where a lot of people believe where it belongs, and it really should belong up in Canada this time of the year. We're starting to get a flow out of the west and northwest, or excuse me, southwest. And again, we're starting to see a indicator of a little bit of a ridge developing. And you'll see how that kind of becomes more defined, especially as we get this system back out in here starting to form. It becomes more angular. We get even more of a flow coming in from the southwest and from this coming in from the south and southwest. And basically, this is going to be bringing in some very warm air, particularly Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, where temperatures could be nearing for many folks near 80 degrees as far north as southern New England. Now, the question will become then, as this front continues to work its way eastward, we're seeing this particular situation happening. This continues working its way eastward. Now, again, there's another ridge back out in here. There's a very minor trough. As this works its way eastward, we are going to see a warm flow coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. Again, we do got some cooler air coming in from Canada. This could be potentially the first perfect setup for a good severe weather situation in the central sections of the country, and even potentially the Northeast could see their first severe weather as well of the season by the middle portions of next week or the end of next week. So sometime around the 12th to the 13th, I think, is when we could be talking about our first thunderstorm action. And again, we're going to just briefly, and I mean really briefly, look at the surface temperatures here, as of course I want to try to end this on a sooner note today. Again, cooler conditions tomorrow, working our way. We're going to start warming things up Wednesday, a little bit warmer. We gradually get warmer as we get through the week. So again, you can see those 50s and 60s starting to come in. And again, depending upon how close that system gets, and according to the Euro, this will be going out to sea, which is what I'm generally thinking right now. That'll mean a fairly nice day yet again on Friday, with temperatures nearing 60 degrees for a lot of folks. Alright, now as we continue to work our way on through the weekend, there could be a brief little impulse of cooler air. But is that actually going to happen? Probably not. So what we'll probably end up seeing is probably something like this. We'll probably end up seeing these mid-50s probably coming as far north as here, and some 60s coming as far north as portions of southern New England. And I wouldn't even be surprised if some of these 70s were to ride up near New York City by Saturday. All right, now we get coming in here for Sunday, we see some warmer conditions. All right, Monday it really starts getting warm, and like I said, oh man, sorry about that. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's even warmer than this. This could be even on the low end. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see these 70, 75 degree temperatures on Monday, getting as far north as southern portions of New Hampshire and Maine, and in those 80s possibly coming as far north as Connecticut, and maybe even seeing an area of 80 to 85 coming as far north as southern Jersey. Okay, so we'll have to watch out for that. And low temperatures during the nighttime hours may not even be getting out of the 50s for folks. So that's pretty warm stuff during the nighttime. Waking up, and again, next Tuesday, I mean, look at this. I mean, again, wouldn't even be surprised if we were to see these 80s, 75 to 80 degree temperatures coming as far north as southern New Hampshire, and would not even be surprised to see 80 to 85 degree temperatures coming as far north as southern New England. So it's going to get warm. It is really going to get warm, and we will see a brief cool down after that, but there is still, yet again, some warm air on the way, and I really don't think we're going to see much in the way of cool weather through the rest of the spring. GFS finally. We'll finish off with the GFS, quickly looking at that. You can generally see cold front, there is that storm system, okay? And again, the GFS is really putting out some serious storm action. Just notice, look at that. That's very impressive. I mean, in a 3 or a 6 hour period, you're talking almost localized areas, and there's 7 inches of rain. That is some serious stuff there. But again, and just notice how that works its way into Florida. That is some serious concern there. Like I said, I am very concerned for Florida for the potentials of some serious severe weather. So definitely going to watch out for that. And again, the GFS does bring this northward. We'll have to sort of see on that. I'm, again, not really buying that. And again, this ridge starts moving east, and notice how we get this nice southeastern ridge coming in. So we have our nice high pressure. We have a nice flow coming out of the south and southwest, therefore giving these folks some warmer conditions, probably not as cool as what's being advertised here, but again, still some nice weather. And again, you can see that we get our first storm system forming out in the Midwest. Again, this is going to sort of give this ridge and warm air more of an angle. So therefore, you're going to start seeing these really see these temperatures coming very far north, and you can clearly see there's a cold front here, a warm front here. You can see that there's a nice low pressure system here, warm air, cold air behind the system. You can see the setup is perfect. This is a perfect setup. It is being indicated by both the Euro and the GFS for portions of next week. So therefore, we could be talking about our first severe weather of the season. Now, what's interesting with the GFS is look at this cold air. Okay, it works its way eastward. It works its way eastward. Works its way eastward. Okay, you can see that it starts coming in. All right, but notice this. It starts really flattening out, and we get this southeastern ridge yet again building back. All right. And that's what really keeps the cool air from coming in. Could we get this angular trough that comes in? Possibly, but it wouldn't last for long because look at this major ridge. This is some major warmth. This is really warm weather. This is summertime warmth here. And that's working its way eastward, and I wouldn't even be surprised if this becomes our permanent pattern for a little while. So definitely some serious warm weather coming in here, and just notice how you can clearly see we're starting to talk about a serious trough out west, a serious ridge in the east. This is really going to become the main pattern. I mean, with this southeastern ridge that we're going to see that's going to build, I mean, you can see there, whoops, I keep doing that for some reason. Clearly seeing this high pressure system. You can see the winds coming out of the south and southwest, and it is all aimed towards the northeast. So what does this all mean? This all spells warm air for these folks. So I have no doubt in my mind that things are going to get warm very quickly. That is almost etched in stone, at least in my opinion. All right, so here's a jet stream pattern, and again, you can see there's that front moving through, and again, there's that cooler air coming in out of Canada. Okay, so that could give some problems into those areas, or well, not problems, but cooler weather. All right, now again, why does this keep doing that? What I do is I use a few. I have some hotkeys that I press in order to get my little marker here, and if I hit it the wrong way, that I get a little error message. But anyway, you have some energy out in the Gulf of Mexico, and again, it's from the southern stream, and you have this, like I said, you have this upper level piece of energy there, and what's going to happen is that's going to kind of come down. It's going to tap into that Gulf of Mexico moisture, and like I said, it's just going to blow up, and you can see. All right, it blows up. We worry about some possible thunderstorms coming into Florida, some severe weather. And again, how far north this gets, well, it's going to depend upon whether or not this northern stream energy, or even the northern stream itself, is going to sort of meet up with this southern piece of energy. If that kind of happens, if we get a little bit of a phase there, then we might be talking about something. But for the most part, I don't think a phase will occur, and I think the blocking is going to be too strong. But either way, whatever happens, we start talking about a flow coming out of the west and southwest. Therefore, that's warmer conditions. All right, so you can see definitely some warmer air for these folks and all of these guys down in here and areas like that. So definitely a lot of us looking forward to things like that. For some reason, this kind of zoomed in a little bit. Moving onward, you can see there is that definite, you can definitely see that ridge starting to build out in here. Now, we do have a frontal system, and we do have a warm front here. There is some cooler air behind this front, so we'll kind of have to watch this. And again, that is the little frontal system that we get. And again, what happens here is we get that front moving through. And again, because of the pattern, because of the angular pattern, we wouldn't get a lot of cold air behind this front. I mean, it would cool down just a tad, but notice how very quickly the winds start yet again coming out of the south and east and the south and west. So not the southeast, the southwest. So basically, that means warmer air. And again, we might get a little brief frontal system, but for the most part, notice this huge, absolutely huge trough, and it's a very impressive trough for this time of the year. Um, you can clearly see it's a major trough. I mean, this is very warm weather, and again, the cool weather out in here is going to be phenomenal. I mean, there could be some I mean, like I said, the cold weather out in here will be phenomenal. So basically, snows could be occurring into some areas. So that is that, and again, you can see the ridge gets deep, gets more amplitude, and the trough gets deeper and more, and it kind of comes down. So you have a more of an you have a higher amplitude. So basically, what does that mean? That means things are going to get extremely warm for folks out in the east, and I'm almost 100% sure on that. So again, there could be some brief cool periods, and again, this could change, and that's why I'm doing these daily updates. But for the most part, things have been staying pretty much the same. So that's basically what it's looking like right now. Um, and again, we will keep you up to date every day. But for now, it looks like definitely some nice warm weather on the way for a lot of folks into eastern half of the country. So hope you enjoyed the winter. Most of us, are excited for spring and tracking. And again, the weather guys, getting ready to track severe weather and everything that spring has to offer. So I hope you all have a great rest of your first day of April, and we'll be back tomorrow with another update. Take care, everyone.